Welcome to CRC, Clinical Research Center. Today we will have a tutorial on types of clinical trials, which is part of our experimental research design series. Experimental studies can be classified in several ways, depending on their design and purpose. In health sciences, experimental research is often called trials. Experimental research in health sciences can be divided into the following different trials. Individual trials. In an individual trial, treatment is allocated to individuals. This is the most commonly conducted clinical trial. Community trials. In community trials, the treatment is allocated to the entire community. Community trials are less common. A well-known community trial was the Newburgh-Kingston-Caries fluorine study, which was conducted to determine if increasing fluoride levels in drinking water would reduce the incidence of dental caries among resident children. Preventive trials. In preventive trials, prophylactic agent is given to health or high-risk individuals to prevent disease occurrence. In preventive trials, we investigate a measure that prevents disease occurrence, known as a preventive or prophylactic trial. Trials that prevent or delay the onset of the disease among healthy individuals are called primary prevention trials. The trials that prevent or delay progression among diseased individuals are termed secondary prevention trials. In some preventive trials, the alleged causal factor is reduced or removed. Some preventive trials are conducted among the general population. Preventive trials usually take many years to conduct and require tens of thousands of participants, because they often focus on reducing the incidence of disease, which typically occurs at a yearly cumulative incidence of 1% or less. Therapeutic trials. In therapeutic trials, treatment is given to diseased individuals to reduce the risk of recurrence, improve survival, or improve quality of life. Therapeutic trials are commonly called clinical trials, because they are conducted in a clinical setting, among diseased patients, and use a clinical outcome measure, such as recurrence or side effects. In therapeutic trials, a new therapy is usually compared to the standard treatment. The new therapy may consist of a new drug, a novel combination of existing drugs, a new therapy, or a technological improvement of an old therapy. The treatments are meant to reduce the recurrence of disease, improve survival, and improve quality of life. Therapeutic trials attempt to reduce the occurrence of relatively common outcomes. They usually take 1 or 2 years to conduct and generally involve only a few hundred patients. Parallel trials. In parallel trials, each group receives all treatment. Treatment is administered concurrently. The treatment and comparison groups consisted of an entirely different population, but the treatments will be administered during the same general time frame. Crossover trial. In crossover trial, each group receives all treatments one after another. The treatment order differs for the group. A washout period may intervene between treatments. In crossover trials, a person may serve as his control. The two groups usually switch treatments at the same time, and there is often a washout period between the end of one treatment and the start of another. This gives the body time to metabolize and excrete the initial treatment. New drug trials. There is a well-established sequence for carrying out therapeutic trials involving new drugs. Phase 1 trials. A Phase 1 drug trial is conducted to provide preliminary information on drug safety, using a relatively small number of normal healthy volunteers. The exception is for cancer chemotherapeutic agents, which are conducted in patients who usually have advanced disease. This trial provides metabolic and pharmacologic profiles of the drug, including determination of the maximally tolerated dose. Phase 2 trials. Phase 2 trials are conducted on a larger number of diseased individuals, to obtain preliminary information on efficacy and additional information if safety, including side effects. Phase 3 trials. Phase 3 trials are needed to show an advantage of an experimental therapy over a standard one, using an objective outcome, such as improved survival. Phase 3 trials also gather information on a drug's indication of use, recommended doses, and side effects, which are all necessary for administering the drug appropriately in clinical practice. At the end of Phase 3 trials, the federal agency with the authority to approve drugs and devices for clinical use. When a Phase 3 trial is complete, the drug manufacturer can request to market the drug for the indication covered by the trial. Phase 4 trial. After the approval of the new drug application, a Phase 4 trial and post-marketing surveillance may be conducted, to determine long-term safety and efficacy of the drug. A Phase 4 trial may be needed because rare and slowly developing adverse events may not become evident during the typical Phase 3 trial. This concludes our today's lecture. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact us at crc.colloquium@gmail.com. Thank you.